All right, well, welcome everyone to our annual town hall meeting for Joint Water and Sewer Commission. We have these every year to discuss our budget for the next year and any rate adjustments that we're going to have. This year is a little different with COVID, so we're going to have about a 15-minute presentation and then about 15 minutes for questions. We have several of our staff members and a couple of commissioners joining us virtually through Microsoft Teams, and then we have another commissioner here in the back of the room. So Commissioner Duncan is here in the room, and then Commissioners Elliott and Cook are joining us virtually tonight. Thank them for their attendance at our meeting. Thank you all for coming. So, like I said, we're going to talk about budget and rates, but we're together, we want to talk about construction projects as well, some stuff on customer service, and then what to look for next year from projects. So 5 projects I wanted to kind of focus on tonight was mainland smoke testing. We did smoke testing on the island last year, but we did the mainland the second half of last year. State Route 99 water main extension project was a water main loop up Highway 99 that was a long time coming. Ridgewood water production facility is a new water production well in the North Mainland area to help serve those needs. Sea Palm's cured in place piping. We'll go over a little bit about what cured in place is. And then the Splice North Mainland Phase 2 project that is winding down currently. So there's some pictures from the smoke testing. When you smoke test, you find problems both private and public. So a public problem will be the one that's on our system. And so the left picture here is a manhole. You can't really see the manhole, but there's smoke coming out of the manhole. What that means is anywhere smoke can come out, water can get in. So we're smoke testing to try to find any defects in our system that allow rainwater to get into the system. So obviously this manhole we have here on the left needs a little bit of attention, so we're going to add that to our manhole rehab list for next year. On the right, that is a private setup at a shopping center in a parking lot there. Clean out caps removed, obvious defect there, and because of the non-permeable surfaces around there, quite a lot of water can get in that situation. So we'll send letters to those folks, but we find both public and private defects. The good thing about what we found about 700 defects on the area of Brunswick that we tested. We also tested over 500,000 linear feet of pipe. So 700 defects over 500,000 linear feet of pipe is about 1 every 7,000 or so feet. So 1 defect per mile is actually pretty good considering the age of our system. So we were very encouraged by those results. We tested it with, what you do is you come in and you encase the top of the manhole with a smoke generating machine, and you plug manholes in other areas and you blow smoke and fill it up and then see where the smoke comes out. It's a very cheap, cost-effective way of doing it. We do closed-circuit television inspections on gravity lines. It takes a lot longer to do that. To do 500,000 feet would take us about 5 years doing it that way versus having a contractor come in and smoke test took about 90 days. So much more efficient way of doing it. So these are some pictures from the State Route 99 water main extension. If you'll notice the timestamp on the one on the left, this project began in 2017. There were several delays, some of it due to some easement issues that we incurred, some of it due to some unforeseen utility conflicts, but the picture on the right is new valves and hydrant that got put in out there. That project is complete. That project was actually transferred to the Joint Water and Sewer when we were created. So that was a long-term project that we finally got wrapped up, but that provides water up along Highway 99 for the residential corridor and also to the Georgia Pacific plant, currently vacant, that is there now. They'll have water capacity whenever that plant is ready to open back up. This is a Ridgewood water production facility. On the left, you see what it looked like before. It's a well that we had that we could use in case of a fire. It didn't have treatment capacity, but if there was a fire, we could turn this well on, put extra water in the system to help pressurize the system for fire flow purposes. On the right, that is a new ground storage tank that is being put in. It's a pre-stressed concrete tank. You kind of see they've got numbers on there all the way up in red. That is the number of metal bands that they wrap around that tank to stress the concrete before they encase it. Very unique process that they're doing there. Takes a little while. If we had a time-lapse video and had time to show it, it's pretty neat to watch it happen, but that's going to allow for additional water capacity drinking-wise in the North Mainland area. The well on the left will be converted to a drinking water well, new treatment facilities there so that we can treat that and add additional capacity in that area. These are some pictures from the Sea Palm CIPP project. On the left, you see our new project manager. I say new, he's been with us about a year now. Jason Vo. He's been doing a good job shepherding a lot of these projects through, and you see a combination cleaner in the back of that where they come in and clean the lines prior to lining them. The CIPP process is there on the right. Essentially, they stick this big sock down in the hole and invert it and then fill the pipe up with water. That sock is impregnated with a fiberglass resin, and as that expands against the interior of the existing hose pipe, you get a brand new plastic pipe inside the existing pipe without having to dig the road up. So knowing that the county's got plans this summer to come in and pave the CPALM's main arteries, we're getting in there ahead of them and getting that taken care of so that when they lay that asphalt, we shouldn't have any concerns about sinkholes from the sewer system. So we also did that process on the North Mainland Phase 2. This is a closed circuit camera footage of interior of those pipes. This is a 30-inch reinforced concrete pipe that's on Whitlock Street on the mainland. You can kind of see there a lot of the aggregate from the concrete is showing on the left. Obviously, that's not in good shape. You can kind of see where there's lines where the rebar has been eroded, so not a lot of structural integrity there. Last year, it was in the newspaper a couple times. We had a fairly large sinkhole on Whitlock, had to shut the road down for a few days. It was because of the condition of the pipe here. On the right, that is that pipe after we have done the cured in place lining. So it's a brand new pipe on the inside. You get a couple of wrinkles here or there, but all in all, very smooth pipe, structurally sound. The pipe, actually, the plastic pipe inside is structural itself. It does not rely on the existing hose pipe to provide structure for it. So we were able to do this. We lined about 8,000 feet of 30-inch pipe on the mainland through North Mainland Phase 2, and that's sort of your end result to kind of give you a difference. If you look up at the upper left corner of the left picture, it says 88.8 feet. On the right's 89.2 feet. That was as close as I could get it at the exact same spot on the camera. So you're looking at the exact same portion of that pipe pre and post. So that kind of tells you the level of work that gets done to these pipes to provide for the long-term future. They say the CIPP liners are supposed to last for at least 50 years. They haven't been going in for 50 years, so I don't know where they get that number from. But at least 50 years worth of new structural integrity on that pipe by doing this process.
This is water main?
This is sewer mains.
Sewer main.
Sewer mains, yes, sir. They actually, if you look at this picture where that blue hose is going down, that's going inside a sewer manhole. So they put it in at one manhole, shoot to the other manhole, and line segments like that. So the water mains are a little more difficult to handle because you don't have entry points like you do with a sewer manhole. All right, so our budget. This year's budget, $33.4 million. We are not adjusting rates once again. This is the second consecutive year we've been able to hold rates steady, so no adjustment to rates. But while we did not adjust our rates, we were able to increase our capital budget, which is where we do projects, to $7.1 million. Last year it was about $6.5 million, so that's about a $600,000 bump. 4 years ago it was at $3 million, so we've really increased our project budget. We get more bang for our buck by doing projects because we can replace a lot of pipe that way. So major decreases in our expenses that allowed us to maintain our consistent rates. We did pay off some of our debt service, so that dropped almost $600,000. Our biosolids from our wastewater plants, we've started hauling those ourselves to the landfill rather than paying a third party to do it. Year to date through 10 months, that has saved us $350,000 this year, and we project that to continue moving forward. And then manhole rehab, we talked about having a manhole rehab list. We've decreased our cost to rehab manholes for the year by $250,000 by putting a list of 50 to 60 together, planning the work out and bidding them out at one time rather than doing 2 or 3 manholes here or there. So getting the contractor in here, knowing he's got 50 to work in, he just comes in and knocks them out, really cuts down our unit cost on doing these manhole rehabs.
What do they do when they're rehabbing a manhole?
The way we do it, we come in and spray a calcium aluminate product. It's a pure fused calcium aluminate product, cementitious, that they spray inside the manhole and completely resurface it, and they trowel it smooth. They put a plug in the bottom of the manhole so the flow continues to go while they're doing it, and they spray the bottoms and the sides all the way up the chimney of the manhole. So you get a pure cementitious liner inside that manhole by doing that. And again, we don't have to dig the road up to replace the manhole by doing it that way. So we can line a manhole for about $5,000. To replace a manhole is about $25,000. So that kind of gives you some scope. If we're doing 50 manholes a year, one of those numbers is a lot more palatable than the other. So customer service, last year if you were at this meeting or watching this meeting, we had a lot of questions about it was difficult to pay us and why couldn't we pay online. We had one gentleman that wanted to make sure that by this time next year, this is last year's meeting, that he wanted to be able to pay his bill online. Well, he can do that now. We've actually been able to do that for over 6 months now. So you can set up an automatic bill pay where it automatically drafts the amount out of your account each month. If you're comfortable with that, it changes the amount based off your water usage, and it pays your bill on time every month. You can now get a paperless bill. You can contact customer service. You can get a bill mailed to you every month. We'll send it to your email address. So that's available now. You can turn in an application for service online. Used to, you had to come down to the office to apply for service. You can do that entirely online now. Now that you can pay online for free as well, so you can submit your deposit and everything online. And one thing that we got a lot of complaints about previously, for us to turn the water on at a residence for a move-in, you had to be present. And for some people, especially those moving from out of town, that wasn't always a viable alternative for them because they wanted the water on when they got there. They were moving in that afternoon, they wanted it on that morning, so when they got there they had water service. We've found a way around that. You can sign a form that allows us to go in and turn your water on without you there. So now we've got it so you only have to deal with us as much as you want to. Everything can be done online. Everything can be done over the phone. You don't have to come into the office unless you have a problem or you just want to see our customer service representatives for the day. So for those of us in the room, there are bigger versions of this, but wanted to show you these are projects that are planned for the next 12 months. The left side, green stars, are sewer projects. The right side, blue stars, are water projects. These are all projects that are either in engineering right now or under construction right now. So we've got the SPLOS projects are all sewer related. Those are very close to being out for bid on a couple of them, and one of them we actually took bids on yesterday, so that will be awarded hopefully next week so they can get started on that. But you see, we're spreading a lot of projects across the entire county. We got needs in all portions of our system. However, we're able to get out ahead of it. Again, increasing that capital transfer allows us to do a whole lot more projects each year. So we've got quite a few projects on the island, quite a few in the North Mainland, and a lot in the city of Brunswick district. So we're going after the ones that are causing us the most problems. We're using our asset management to figure out where we're going to spend the money to get the biggest return for our investment there. So a lot of projects here. I'm not going to go through that whole list, but certainly we have a lot of them. We did want to point out a couple. The Arco Water and Sewer Extension Project, the area of Arco just outside the city limits, has been in need of water and sewer service from us for years. We currently have that under engineering, and hopefully we go out first of the year for construction for that. And then the Community Road Sewer Extension. Community Road on the mainland is a major commercial area that the overwhelming majority of them are not on our sewer service, and they have septic tanks. Certainly they would rather be on our service, so we're going to try to get them sewer as well. On the water side, two things you'll note. Down there at the bottom it says PRV Installations. There's one on the St. Simons and one on the North Mainland. Our PRV is a pressure reducing valve. It doesn't actually cause us to lose pressure in the system. It allows us to set up pressure zones so that our individual water tanks can feed certain areas instead of trying to distribute it across the entire system. So it allows us to control pressures in individual areas better. Also on the water side, you'll see down at the bottom, meter replacements. So we are currently working through contracting now to replace all of our water meters. So that's something that you will be seeing coming up. That's a 4-year project replacement schedule. So we're doing about 7,500 meters a year, but we'll certainly get out word of which neighborhoods we're going to be replacing when. And then galvanized water main replacements. We have a lot of small galvanized lines, particularly services, 2-inch lines, 3-inch lines out in our system. They're older metallic pipes that are corroding and starting to leak, and we're trying to hit those systematically. We've started doing one neighborhood here on the island already. Our crews have been out there replacing those. We're self-installing the new PVC pipe, And we think this will provide better pressure and less leaks to the customers, so hopefully we'll have less boil water advisories because of that. So we talked about meter reading. On the left, this is what we currently do. We do what's called automatic meter reading, or AMR. That means that we drive a truck by your house, and a little radio in your meter picks up the transmitter in a truck, and it will read your meter each month. So we have to drive by you every month. We're going to call what's called automated meter infrastructure, or advanced metering infrastructure, which is an AMI system. It's all done wirelessly. We can sit at the office and get your reading whenever we want to. If you come in and have a question about your usage, we can pull it up by the hour for that meter. We can provide data for that. We also can know when you have a leak. So we'll get a report every morning when these get in of whose meter has ran 24 hours continuously. And we'll be able to call every one of those customers and tell them, hey, you had water running for 24 hours, you may have a leak. Now, you still got to get your leak fixed, and you're probably going to get a high water bill until we can get the leak adjustment done, but maybe you'll get a water bill that's $300 instead of $800 because you found your leak before you got your water bill. So we're hoping to cut down some of the sticker shock on those leak adjustments by doing that. Also, everybody will be able to sign up for the customer service platform where they can go in and see their usage themselves, kind of what you can do with Georgia Power now, where you can go in and look at your daily power usage. You'll be able to do that with your daily water usage as well. So with that is the end of my presentation. Again, I'm kind of doing this with the 15-minute presentation window because of COVID. So that's the extent of it today, but I'll be happy to take any questions that y'all have.
One concern I have is that I here about 3 years ago, I put in a dedicated, sprinkler line for irrigation. But I'm being charged those overhead fees for the water, which amounts to about $10 a month, and I'm also paying it on my main line, water and sewer. And I really like to get rid of that. When I talk to customer service, they say, well, it's because you have 2 accounts. Well, it's like, come on, give me a break. And I've talked to, people down there, I'm not going to name any names, but I'd sure like to see that resolved. It's as simple as putting a flag in the database, and don't have that, jump onto my bill, please.
There's certainly something we can take a look at. Currently, irrigation accounts are set up as separate accounts, and there's some benefit to that as well, so that if you want to cut your irrigation off in the wintertime, you don't cut your actual main water off in the wintertime. So there's some advantages to that, but that's certainly something we can look into for people that have both and trying to combine those bills.
Well, it's not that the combining is just, I don't have to pay
Right.
2 overhead fees. I'm getting double dip. I don't get it. I mean, I know you need income, but that's not the way to get it. Get income based on usage, and I don't double dip in the overhead fees.
Yes, sir.
With respect.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Any more questions?
I got one other question.
All right.
Down by the old stables, from time to time, we get the worst sewage smell coming out of, I don't know, something there. I know they were supposed to have done a smoke test, but we always hear an announcement, but we never hear what the result is or what needs to happen.
Yes, sir. What we've started doing now, we've started installing aerators at our actual pump station sites. We've put them on our largest pump stations. We've got about 10 of them in the system on the island now that we're going through. And what that does is the word we use is fresh. It freshens the sewage up. Odors come in sewage when it gets stagnant. Essentially, the sewage starts to break down and it starts to gas off. So by aerating it, it prevents it from occurring. So we're trying to put these on every pump station that pump anywhere near that intersection so that we can keep as oxygenated a flow as we can through there, which will try to prevent that. Now, I understand odor it either has an odor or it doesn't. We've actually got results. These have been in the group about 3 months now. We've reduced the odors by our actual readings by about 15% with what we've got in so far, and we're starting to add more of those on there. So hopefully we're going to be able to take a huge chunk out of that as we continue to add these to a system. Very cost effective. You're not just pouring chemicals into the system, which can affect your treatment down the stream. So we're looking at those right now. We've got them on a couple of stations. I've talked to some of the residents that live right by the stations, and they seem to particularly enjoy it because those pump stations don't have odors anymore because we're keeping it oxygenated there. So we're going to try to take a system-wide approach to it and make a difference that way. So I can't tell you a specific date when it's going to be gone, But we are actively working on it, and we are actually showing some improvement, although, again, your nose either smells it or it doesn't. So we are working on it, though.
That was great.
Well, thank you. We do these every year. Next year, you might get a little bit longer presentation if we're not going through COVID. A little more information on our projects next year, hopefully. But we're very proud of the work we've been able to get done for the last month. Staff has worked incredibly hard trying to get a lot of work done. I think with the amount of projects we have underway, you're going to start to see major changes in the system. And I think we're going in the right direction. And if we can continue this way, I think it will be able to have these meetings every year and they'd be a positive outcome for everybody. And so if there's not any more questions, we'll end this session and pick back up in about 10 minutes in case anybody else shows up.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Who's delighted?
Come back in. It's the same story.
I was thinking, well, you could pipe the atmosphere from Murphy's Beer Garden
There you go.
and use that for your smoke testing. I'd walk or ride by there and think, holy man,
All right. Welcome to the JWSC Town Hall meetings. Again, this year, we're going to be doing this a little different due to COVID. Anybody that wants to come down and join us, we can't have more than 10 in the room per Glynn County's rules here at the casino, but we will be here till 8 o'clock if anybody is interested in joining us. But we're going to have about a 15-minute presentation and then allow about 15 minutes for questions. You can ask questions here in person. You can submit them on Facebook to Jay Sellers, who is manning our Facebook account, and he'll be happy to ask those questions of me. Those of you that don't know me, I'm Andrew Burrows. I am the Executive Director of the Joint Water and Sewer Commission. We have 3 of our commissioners here in attendance. Well, one, Commissioner Bob Duncan's here in person, and we have 2 commissioners, Commissioner Don Elliott and Commissioner Chuck Cook, joining us virtually to try not to fill the room up with JWSC personnel in case we had customers that would like to join us. Okay, so we are required to have these per our operating agreement to talk about our budget and our rates. However, whenever we get together, I like talking about our projects that we have. So we'll go over some projects that are currently under construction. We'll talk about the budget. We'll talk about some exciting news from customer service over the past year, and then we'll talk about where we're going to go with our projects within the next 12 months. So we're going to feature 5 projects currently now. The Mainland smoke testing and State Route 99 water main extension projects are both complete. The Mainland smoke testing, you may remember we did that on St. Simon's about a year and a half ago. Well, we wrapped up the Mainland over the winter. State Route 99 we'll go into a little more detail. Ridgewood Water Production Facility is a new drinking water treatment facility that's going in off of Kate Road. CPALM CIPP. CIPP is cured in place piping. We'll go over a little bit about exactly what that process is. And then the SPLOST North Mainland Phase 2 project is coming to an end, and we're fixing to get jump started on Phase 3, but we'll talk about some of the results of Phase 2. So we have some pictures here from the Mainland smoke testing. When we smoke test, what we do is inject an inert mist into our system, and anywhere that mist gets out is a place that rainwater or flood water could get into our system. It is called smoke testing, but there's actually no smoke in the side of the sewer system. That way, we keep the water that doesn't need to be in our system out, and that helps reduce cost for everybody. This is a State Route 99 project. If you can see on the far left there, there's a date stamp of that pipe going in the ground in 2017. We had a lot of problems with this project, from utility conflicts, GDOT permitting issues, easement concerns. But I'm happy to say that as of the last month, we have finally wrapped that project up. That project was actually transferred to the JWSC by the county back when we were formed. So that project is the oldest project on our list, and it has officially fallen off now. So we're happy to do that. That'll allow for increased water pressure and volumes for residential areas on Highway 99, as well as the Georgia Pacific facility up there that is currently vacant. But we'll have additional water for them whenever they want to open that back up. The Ridgewood Water Production Facility, again, this is in the Kate Road, Perry Lane Road area. You'll see on the left that little building. That little building houses an existing fire well. What a fire well is a well that we do not have treatment capacity at, but in the event that we need additional flow for firefighting purposes, we can turn on to increase pressure in the system. Well, on the right, that is a ground storage tank that is being put in there, and we'll have treatment capacity going in at that station as well. But that is a pre-stressed concrete tank. You'll see numbers going up in red on that tank, and they'll take metal bands and wrap around that to put stress in particular areas, and then coat that outside of that with concrete so that you get a concrete tank that'll be good for 50 plus years. So that project will allow additional pumping capacity in the North Mainland, should help with pressure in high flow areas, as well as provide additional fire flow capacity should that be required. This is the CPALM CIPP. Again, CIPP is cured in place piping. What that is we insert, if you look at the picture on the right, you insert a sock, is what we call it. You insert a sock that's impregnated with fiberglass resin, and you invert it into the line. You fill the line with water, and it expands out, and that resin hardens into a brand new plastic pipe inside the existing pipe structure. On the left, that's our new project manager within the past year, Jason Vo, who's doing a great job managing a lot of these projects. He was out there helping to direct traffic. You see that blue combination cleaner behind it. You have to come in and completely clean the lines before you can do this process. So they came in and did that. Now they're in the process of lining that. So they're doing that in CPALMs. We know that the county is intending to pave CPALMs within the next couple of months. We will be out of the way prior to them getting in there for paving, so expect that project to be coming to a conclusion in the very near future. This is from the North Mainland SPLOST Phase 2 project, which was a CIPP rehab project to rehab 30-inch concrete pipe coming down B&W Grade Road and Whitlock Road. You see on the left there, that is reinforced concrete pipe, and you can kind of see all the bumps and rocks in there. That's the aggregate in the actual pipe that is being exposed. And you can, if you look closely, see some dark lines that are where the rebar has been eroded, so that pipe has very little structural integrity left. So what they do, again, they come in and clean that pipe completely, and then they put this sock in and fill it with water and create a new pipe. That is what that pipe looks like today on the right. If you can look in the upper left, you see an 88.8 foot, and in the upper right, an 89.2 foot. So that's the exact same segment of pipe before it was rehabbed and after it's rehabbed. You can kind of see the major difference we have there. That pipe is now structurally sound with just the plastic. The exterior pipe does not provide any structural support anymore. It just provides the shape while it is curing. So for our budget next year, overall budget is $33.4 million. That is fairly consistent with where it was the last couple of years because we are not adjusting rates once again. That is the second consecutive year we've been able to say that. We haven't adjusted rates, but we've been able to increase our capital budget to $7.1 million from $6.5 million last year. We'll go over how we did that, but capital budgets allow us to do more projects, and more projects gets through our system and reinvest in it quicker so we can improve our system more rapidly. So we were able to do that because we had some major expense decreases in the past 12 months. We paid off some of our debt service, so that decreased almost $600,000. Biosolids, the solids that are leaving the wastewater treatment plants, we've started hauling those to the landfill ourselves rather than paying a third-party provider to do that. And we've saved through the first 10 months of the year $350,000 by hauling ourselves, and we expect that number to continue forward to the coming years. And then manhole rehab, we've decreased the cost of rehabbing manholes. We do about 50 a year by $250,000. We've been able to do that by planning our work better, getting 50 or 60 together at one time and bidding the work out. So that previous manhole that you saw all the smoke coming out of, that'll be on our list for next year. We'll have a contractor come in and knock them out in about 4 months. Rather than us coming in and doing 1 or 2 at a time, we do 50 or 60 at a time and get that taken care of. It drops the unit cost fairly substantially by doing that. Again, we had some exciting customer service news. If you came to this meeting last year, you may remember some exciting conversations that we had related to the difficulties they felt we had paying our bills. So now I'm happy to say we do have automatic bill pay available and online payments. We had talked about online payments last year. We have waived that fee so you can pay online without paying a transaction charge. But now you can set up automatic bill pay where it automatically drafts out of your account each month for the amount that your bill will be if you so choose. If you would like to receive a paper statement, stop receiving a paper statement from us and receive it via email, you can contact customer service and they can start sending you a paperless bill as soon as next month if you so choose. We now can do applications online. If you want to start water and sewer service with us, if you're moving in from out of town or you're moving from one location in town to another, you can do all that process online now without having to come in. You can pay online again your deposit and account charges to get it started without having to pay that fee, so that's all available online. And one thing we got a lot of complaints about previously was when someone wanted a new house with water to it, they had to be present for the water to be turned on. We've found a way to do that now where you sign a waiver that allows us to get on your property without you being there. We cut your water on and you're good to go. So essentially by doing these 4 things, you don't have to come to see us unless you just want to see us. You can do everything remotely, which a lot of people want to do now, but certainly we welcome you at our lobby at any chance. Our customer service reps will be there from 8 to 5 every day ready to serve you. Now we got 2 maps here. These are projects that are planned for the next 12 months, and you'll see a lot of stars. The green stars on the left are sewer projects. The blue stars on the right are water projects. You can see they're dispersed a lot between the city and North Mainland and St. Simon's Island. Got a lot of projects going in. I'm not going to go through every one of these projects. For those people that come and join us in attendance, we have these printed out much larger so you can see them a little better. But on the sewer side, a couple to point out. Arco, Water and Sewer Extension, the Arco neighborhood just outside the city limits, has requested additional water and sewer service from us for several years. We currently have that project in the engineering phase, hoping to go out for construction very early next year. And then the Community Road Water and Sewer Extension. Community Road is in the county. It's a fairly large commercial district in the county that does not have sewer service. Those commercial businesses are on septic tanks, and they would rather be on our service, so we're currently under engineering for that as well. On the water side, I'd like to mention the two projects. You'll see the term PRV on there. PRV is a pressure reducing valve. If you look that up, you hear the term pressure reducing valve. We are not going to decrease your water pressure. What that does will allow us to set pressure zones in our system so that the many wells that we have producing drinking water can control pressure within their own subset much better than they are currently trying to spread across the entire system. At the bottom of the water side, you'll see countywide water projects. There's meter replacements and galvanized water mains replacements. The meter replacements, we've got a 4-year schedule to go out and replace all of our water meters, and we'll go through that in some detail shortly. And then galvanized water mains replacements, we have a lot of old galvanized water pipe out there that's small 2-inch, 3-inch diameter lines. The pipes are corroded, they're leaking, so it reduces pressure in some areas. And so we're going in trying to be proactive to replace a lot of this pipe, try to reduce these boil water advisories we're getting, improve the water pressure to the residences. We've actually went through and gotten most of the way through a fairly large neighborhood here on the island to start with, and we'll be going through taking out large chunks of that galvanized this year. That is being done with internal staff members. So, meter replacements. What we currently do is what we see on the left here. It's called automatic meter reading. You see the truck on there. We have to drive by everybody's house. There's a radio signal that picks it up. So every month we have to drive by and you get one snapshot of what's going on with your system. We're going to an automatic meter reading system. AMI is what it is called. That is all done remotely. We can read your meter digitally, and we can also give you readings down to the hour or even smaller increments than that if you so choose. So all our meters will be read remotely in that way. So if you come in and you have a question about your bill, we can pull up your usage right there in front of you. You don't have to wait for the next 30 days to get your bill. Another issue with that, we have with this system, they'll allow us to get a report each day of what meters have been running continuously for 24 hours. That would indicate that you have a leak unless there's a specific reason that a commercial enterprise may have a 24-hour water usage. So we'll be able to call those customers that day and tell them, hey, your water's been running for 24 hours. You probably have a leak. So you don't get the sticker shock when you get your bill in 30 days because you've used $800 worth of water and you normally use $50 worth of water. We're going to let you know as soon as we can and call those customers quickly so that we'll still give you a leak adjustment if you got a leak by the time you get it fixed. But hopefully we won't have to give you as much of an adjustment and you won't have the sticker shock when you open your bill each month. But with that, I'll close this presentation down. Again, my name is Andrew Burrs. There's my contact info. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions that you have. We currently at this session don't have anybody in attendance, but Mr. Sellers, do we have anybody questions online? No questions at the moment. Again, we're going to do these every 30 minutes, so you've got another chance to join us at 7 and at 7:30, again online and here in person. Feel free to stop by. We'll be here, and we'll be happy to speak with you if you have any concerns. Thank you so much for attending. All right. Welcome, everybody, to our annual JWSC Town Hall meeting. I am Andrew Burrows. I'm the Executive Director at Joint Water and Sewer. We have in attendance with us tonight 3 of our commissioners. One, Commissioner Bob Duncan, is here with us in person, and Commissioner Don Elliott and Chuck Cook are with us virtually. Due to COVID-19 restrictions here at the casino, the county has limited us to 10 in the room, so we have a lot of staff members attending virtually if you have any questions. But come on down and join us. We have plenty of space for you should you want to join us before 8 o'clock. So typically I go on this presentation for about 35 minutes each year. We cut it down to 15 minutes now so that we can get groups in and out in 30 minutes. So what we're going to go over, we're required to do these by our operating agreement to talk about our budget and rates. However, whenever we get together, we want to talk about our construction projects, customer service, and then our plan for the next year as well. So I want to highlight 5 construction projects that are either recently completed or under construction right now. The Mainland smoke testing and State Route 99 water main extension projects have both been completed. The Ridgewood water production facility is a new drinking water well going up in the Perry Lane, Kate Road area. CPALM CIPP. CIPP is cured in place piping. We'll go over a little bit more of what that is. And then the SPLOS North Mainland Phase 2, that is one of our 2 SPLOS projects, is wrapping up, and go a little bit about the results we've got on that. So here you see some pictures of what smoke testing is. We did smoke testing on St. Simon's about a year and a half ago. We completed the smoke testing and got the report back from the Mainland in February. So when we smoke test, we inject an inert mist into the system, and anywhere that this mist, we call it smoke because as you can see it looks like smoke, gets out of the system, rainwater can get in our system. Anywhere rainwater can get in our system, our treatment costs go up because we're having to pump more water. So on the left, you'll see an example of a public issue. We find issues with our system. That is a manhole that happens to be leaking quite a lot there as you see the amount of smoke coming out of that. That'll be added to our manhole rehab list, which we'll talk about a little later. And on the right, you'll see an example of a private issue. That's in a parking lot at a commercial building. There's a clean out cap that's missing. With all that non-permeable surface right there, all that runoff's going to go somewhere. There's a convenient hole for it to get in right there, so that customer will be getting a letter asking them to please replace the clean-out cap so that they can keep that rainwater out of our system. State Route 99 is a very long-term project. If you look on the left where that pipe's going in and the date stamp, it says March 14th of 2017. You'll note that it is now June of 2020, so that was 4 years ago. So with that being said, that project is now complete. You see a new hydrant and valve set up there. Those are the valves that operate the hydrant and things of that nature. But that project was actually transferred to us by the county at the formation of Joint Water and Sewer. It was in engineering at that point. We have finally completed that. That was the oldest project on our list, and it is now dropped off the list, so getting some of the backlog taken care of. Here you see some pictures of our Ridgewood facility. Ridgewood on the left, there is an existing fire well. A fire well is a facility that if we need additional water capacity in the event of a fire, we can turn it on and add additional water to the system. However, we don't have consistent drinking water treatment capabilities there, so it's only in case of emergency. We are converting that to an actual drinking water well that will have full-time drinking water treatment capacity. There, what you see going in there is a groundwater storage tank. You'll see these at all of our well sites. That is a pre-stressed concrete tank. You see them come in, you see the red 10s and 12s on there. That's how many bands they're going to put around that to pre-stress that tank to make sure that that tank's in good shape and we don't have a bunch of stress cracks show up later. So that tank will be good for at least 50 years. That's been underway now since February, and we're expecting that to be completed prior to the end of the year. We'll have that tank installed and then additional aerators and treatment capacity at the actual well site so that we can produce high-quality drinking water there. Here we got some pictures from the CPALM CIPP. Remember, CIPP is cured in-place piping. If you look on the picture on the right here, you'll see a very long blue tube with a white sock attached to it. That sock goes in at a manhole into the sewer system and gets inverted. It has a resin in it, and then we fill it with water. That resin pushes up against the inside of the existing pipe structure, and we get a brand new pipe out of that without having to dig up the roadways. On the left, you see Jason Vo, our new project manager. He's been with us about a year now, helping direct some traffic while they were doing some of the cleaning work. That is a combination cleaner behind him there. The contractor has to come in and completely clean the sewer line so that we get good adhesion as part of our CIPP process. Now, what CIPP looks like when it's done, this is from the North Mainland Phase 2 project. That on the left is an existing 30-inch pipe that is on Whitlock. Whitlock had a sinkhole situation last year that had the road shut down, caused us to spend a lot of time and money out there fixing it, because you can kind of see what that pipe looked like. That is a concrete pipe. You can see aggregate showing. Obviously, you don't want to see the aggregate showing on your concrete. You also have rebar in there, or you should have rebar in there that has dissolved. So the pipe has very little structural integrity. On the right, that is what it looks like post-lining, post-CIPP lining. The left picture is at 88.8 feet. The right picture is at 89.2 feet. So this is as close as we can get to the exact same spot to show you the before and after pictures for that sewer rehab. Again, we lined about 8,000 feet of this 30-inch pipe on that project. All of that pipe was done without us having to dig it up, which is a tremendous cost savings and is done quicker and with less nuisance to the citizens. Moving on to the budget, our overall budget is $33.4 million for next year. We were able to maintain with no rate adjustments again. That is our second consecutive year having the same exact rates. We were able to do that, but we also were able to increase our capital budget to $7.1 million. Our capital budget is where we do projects from. Projects allow us to prioritize the highest risk areas where we can put new pipe in the ground, rehab some facilities, so we're able to do more projects with that money. So how were we able to increase our project budget without raising rates? We're able to do that because we had some substantial decreases in expenses. We paid off some of our debt service, and that dropped at about $600,000 on our overall debt service. Our biosolids that leave the wastewater plant, previously we used to have a third party haul them to the landfill. We've bought the equipment and are hauling those to the landfill ourselves now. Through the end of April, we have saved $350,000 year to date. That's fiscal year to date, not calendar year to date. And we project that to continue forward into the future, so major savings there. And then Manhole Rehab has decreased $250,000. We've been able to do that by being more proactive in planning our work out. We're combining these into bigger contracts for the contractors to work on. We're bidding 50 to 60 out at a time, which gets our unit costs way down. So we've dropped that down. Instead of doing 2 or 3 at a time, we're doing 50 or 60 at a time. So we've saved $250,000 on doing the manhole rehabs that way. Exciting customer service news. If you were at this meeting last year, there was some spirited debate about how difficult it was to pay your bill. We were able to get that corrected very soon thereafter, but this is the first time we've been together since then. So we now have automatic bill pay. You can set up your account to auto draft every month. Should you choose, it'll draft the exact amount your bill is every month, and you never have to worry about it. You also can pay with a credit card online. We have waived that fee for over a year now, but you can pay online each month as well without having to pay a fee. We now offer paperless billing. If you don't want to get a paper bill from us and just want to get it emailed to you, contact customer service and they can get that started for you next month. We also now offer the applications through our website. If you want to start service with us, you go on our website, fill out the form, we'll get it all taken care of. You can pay the deposit online. You don't have to come see us to start an account. We used to get a lot of complaints about people having to be at the home in order for getting the water turned back on in a move-in situation. We've stopped that process. Now you just sign a form saying we can be in there and open the water up for you, and we're good to go. So if you're moving into town and you need your water turned on, but we can't give you a time that fits in your schedule that we can be there, we'll just have it turned on by the time you get there, should you so choose. So with these new offerings, our customer service folks are always available to help you out, but you only have to come see us when you want to. You can do everything online now. Now, we have customer service reps that are always standing by to help you out, and they are great folks, so come down and speak to them if you so choose. But if you don't want to talk to us, you can do it all online now. We talked about the capital budget, $7.1 million for next year. These are the planned projects for the next year that are either currently under construction or in engineering at this point. The left green stars are sewer projects. The right blue stars are water projects. You can see we're hitting a lot of areas. We've got projects on the island. We've got projects in the North Mainland. We've got projects in the city district on both water and sewer. I'm not going to go through every one of these projects. We still have 3 SPLOS projects. We're phasing it a little different, so it's actually 2 projects on the SPLOS list, but they're being done by separate contractors that will be taken care of this year, getting started very soon on those. Also, I'll note the Arco Water and Sewer Extension Project and Community Road Sewer Extension Projects. Arco is a residential area just outside of the city limits. that has been requesting water and sewer service for years. We are currently have that under engineering so we can actually extend the service to those customers. Community Road Sewer Extension is a commercial district on the mainland that, for whatever reason, never got sewer ran to it. They have water service but not sewer, and we're under engineering now to get those folks off their septic tanks so they can be on our system as well. Over here on the right, on the water side, I'll point out down there at the bottom, you'll see SSI PRV installation and North Mainland PRV installation. A PRV is a pressure reducing valve. That sounds like we're going to lower your water pressure, but that is not what is going to happen. This allows us to create pressure zones in our water distribution system so that we can better control the pressure in different areas. Instead of the whole system having to be pressurized at the same time, if there's a fire or a major water use going on in one area, instead of it affecting the water pressure in another area, that'll be on a separate pressure district. So that'll be helpful for us here on the island or on the mainland when we move forward. Down there at the bottom, you'll see countywide water projects. Two of them I want to point out. Meter replacements we'll get into in just a second. And galvanized water main replacements. You'll see our crews out in the field right now replacing galvanized water mains. Galvanized water mains are older water mains. They're all small diameter, 2 and 3 inch water mains. That galvanized material corrodes very badly. It reduces your pressure. It gets brittle and it breaks. If you get anywhere near it with a shovel, it will break. And it just leaks like a sieve, so that reduces your pressure. So we're getting proactive about getting these things out. We're going through whole neighborhoods that have it in it. We're going through one on the island now, and we'll be moving to other areas. So if you see our crews out there, our water distribution crews are doing a great job getting that taken care of. When they're in there doing that, they will help your water pressure moving forward. On the meter reading, we talked about replacing meters. We're going to replace all 30,000 of our water meters in the system over the next 4 years. What we currently have is called automatic meter reading. You'll see the little truck there on the left. We send a meter reader in a truck that drives by every business or house in Glynn County that has our service, and it picks up that reading, and then we bring it back and upload it into the system. And you get that reading once a month, and you get a bill for 30 days or 28 days, 32 days, whatever the billing cycle happened to be that period. And that's the only snapshot you get of what's going on. We're going to what's called an AMI system. It's a complete wireless reading system where we can sit at a desk at the office and read your meter anytime. If you come into our office and have any questions about your water usage, we can pull up your water usage broken down to the hour or even smaller than that should you have significant questions about where your water use is happening. Another thing that'll do, these meters, if you come in and your water's been turned on for 24 hours in a row, you're going to be on a report that we get every day that shows us who has that. That probably means you have a leak unless there is a specific reason you have had water turned on for 24 hours. So we'll be able to call those customers every day and say, hey, you may want to check. We think you have a leak that you need to look into. That does two things. One, it prevents us from having to do quite as many leak adjustments, but also you don't get the sticker shock in 30 days when you get a massive water bill because you've had a leak since day 2 of the billing cycle. So we're able to get that information to you and also help conserve water, which we know is a vital resource for our community. So with that, I'm going to open it up for any questions. We don't have anybody currently here with us, but we have people watching online. Jay, any questions from the folks online?
We have 5 on Facebook and 5 on YouTube, but I don't see any questions yet.
Well, no questions. We're going to do this once again at 7:30. We'll be here one more time. If you're watching and want to come join us, we have plenty of seats with our count of 10 available. We have staff standing by to answer your questions. But other than that, I will close this presentation until 7:30. Thank you very much. We're good to go.
Ready, Joey?
Welcome, everyone. My name is Andrew Burrows. I'm the Executive Director at the Joint Water and Sewer Commission, and this is our annual town hall meetings. We have these meetings every year to go over our budgets and rates for the next year, but we're going to go over some more stuff while we have everybody together. We're down here at the casino on St. Simon's tonight. Tomorrow night, you can join us at our office. We'll be doing the same presentation again tomorrow. Due to COVID restrictions, we're restricted to 10 people at any one time in the room, so we're doing shorter presentations every 30 minutes, about 15 minutes for presentations, and allow about 15 minutes for questions. You can ask questions here online. You can ask questions on Facebook or YouTube. We have staff manning those to get those questions asked if you do have them. So again, we're going to talk about our current construction projects. We'll talk about our budget. We'll talk about some exciting news from customer service over the last 12 months, and then some upcoming projects. As far as our current construction projects, the Mainland smoke testing and State Route 99 water main extension projects have both been completed within the last 12 months. We'll go over those in a little more detail shortly. The Ridgewood water production facility is a new drinking water treatment facility going in up in the Kate Road, Perry Lane Road area. CPALM CIPP. CIPP is cured in place pipe rehab. We'll go into some detail about how that works. And then the SPLOS North Mainland Phase 2 is wrapping up. We'll go over some of the results we got from that. Here you see the results of the Mainland smoke testing. About a year and a half ago, we did the St. Simons Island smoke testing. This time we did the Mainland. We finished it up and got the report back in February. We don't actually inject smoke. It's an inert mist, but you obviously see it looks like smoke when it comes out. Anywhere smoke comes out, rainwater can get into our system. Any rainwater that gets into our system, we have to pay to pump that, so it increases our operating cost. So you'll find both public and private issues with the smoke testing. Like the left is an example of a public issue. That is a manhole in the grass there that is obviously leaking quite a bit with water getting in there with the amount of smoke that has come out. That will be added to our annual manhole rehab list, which we'll discuss later. And on the right, you have an example of a private issue. That is a parking lot behind a commercial building there. That is a cleanout cap that is missing with all the non-permeable surfaces there. All that runoff's got to go somewhere. And we have a nice hole in the ground that will end up in our system. So we're going to send that customer a letter requesting they put a cleanout cap back on that so that we can eliminate that additional flow from our system. The State Route 99 project has been a very long-term project. It was actually transferred to us during the engineering phase when we were created by the county. So on the left, you'll see some pictures from 2017 with water pipe was actually going in. You'll note that it is now 2020, so that's quite an extended period. But now you see new hydrants, new valves up there. That water main loop has been completed. It'll provide water capacity for the residential customers up on Highway 99 as well as the Georgia Pacific facility up there should they choose to open back up. So that project, it was the oldest project we have in our books, and now that it is complete, we're very happy to move forward. These are some pictures from Ridgewood. Again, that's in the Kate Road, Perry Lane Road area. The left is what it looks like before we started the project. It was a fire well. Fire well is a well that we have that doesn't have full-time treatment capacity, but in the event of extreme water usage, say in a fire, we can turn that on to add additional water to the system to maintain pressure. What you see on the right is an example of the ground storage tank that's going in at that facility as we convert that to a full-time drinking water well. That's a pre-stressed concrete tank. You'll see in the center there some red numbers going up that tank. They're going to wrap wire bands around that to stress that concrete so that once the water is in it and you start getting pressures, you don't have stress cracks show up from that. So we'll get a good long-lasting tank out of that. And then the well on the left will be modified for drinking water treatment. They'll have aeration capacity and chemical treatment going in there so that we can produce high-quality drinking water in that area. That'll improve water pressure and flows from the North Mainland area, particularly that north of I-95. This is the CPALM CIPP. Again, CIPP is cured in place piping. The picture on the right, you'll see a very long blue tube going down in a manhole and then a very skinny white sock that's coming behind it. That goes in the pipe and gets inverted. That is impregnated with resin. We fill it with water, it expands to the inside of the pipe, and you get a brand new pipe inside the existing pipe without having to open cut the road, don't have to dig, don't have to repave, much quicker and less frustration for the customers in that area. So we know the county's trying to pave CPALMs in the next couple of months, so we're going to be out of there in plenty of time for them to do that. So you may see those crews out there on the way. On the left, you'll see our new project manager, Jason Vo, who's trying to shepherd all these projects we're talking about through the system here. He's directing traffic as they were pre-cleaning the pipe. When you want to do CIPP rehab, you do have to pre-clean the pipe so that you have a good host pipe for the material to form against. This is an example, pre and post CIPP piping from the North Mainland Phase 2 project. We lined about 8,000 feet of 30-inch sewer on B&W and Whitlock. Last year in the newspaper, you may remember, we had a sinkhole open up on Whitlock, had to open cut that because the pipe failed, shut the road down. A costly repair, but also a nuisance to the customer base, having to reroute their travel times there. So on the left, that's what a piece of that pipe looked like prior to us rehabbing it. That is a concrete pipe, reinforced concrete pipe. You see all those bumps in the top of it, that is actual aggregate that is showing. Think of it at your house. If you have a concrete patio, you really don't want the aggregate poking out the top. Not good for the concrete. You're losing a lot of the material there. And you'll see some brown lines. That is the reinforcement from the rebar that is actually corroded away. So there's very little structural integrity to that pipe. On the right, that's what it looks like post-lining. We call CIPP lining. You'll see that the left one's at 88.8 feet, the right one's at 89.2 feet. And you'll see the dates there. This is 2 months later. You have that pipe that looks like it's about to collapse and there's very little going on, and you have a brand new smooth pipe coming out the other side. So that's what we're doing in a lot of areas across the county, specifically right now in Sea Palms and on the North Mainland, but we're expanding that across because we can line pipe and get a brand new pipe that is structurally sound without requiring the external pipe to be sound to do that. But again, we can do that without having to cut the road open and dig down on these pipes. So a very cost-effective way of doing that. Talk about our budget. This year's budget, which starts July 1, is $33.4 million. No rate adjustments again. That's the second year in a row we've been able to say that. So we've been able to hold our rates steady. Capital budget has increased to $7.1 million from $6.5 million last year. We were able to do that without adjusting the rates because we've had some significant decreases in our major expense line items. Our debt service, we paid some of that off. That decreased almost $600,000. Our biosolids that are leaving the wastewater facilities, we were paying a third party to haul that for us. We've bought the equipment to haul that ourselves now. So through the fiscal year to date, end of April, we've saved $350,000 hauling that material ourselves, and we project that to move forward as well. And then manhole rehab, we've decreased what we were paying for manhole rehab by $250,000 a year. We've done that by getting better at how we're planning our workout. We're going out and doing a lot of inspections on these manholes so that we can group them in batches of 50 or 60 to go out and rehab. Instead of sending out 2 or 3 at a time, you get the contractors in here 50 or 60 at a time. They're in here, they're out, and they can give us a better per unit price for doing that. So that manhole earlier that you saw in the smoke testing, that'll be on our manhole list that's going out for bid in the very near future, so they can get started on that right after the fiscal year starts. So, some exciting customer service news. If you were at this meeting last year, we had some spirited discussion about the ability to pay their bills and why it was difficult to pay your bills. Well, we've tried to rectify that. We now offer automatic bill pay. We can auto draft money out of your account for the exact amount of your bill every month, should you so choose. You can pay online through our online portal. There is no fee. We've waived that fee, so you pay with your credit card online. You can do either one of those options. You can send a check, or you can come pay cash at the lobby there, but we now can do everything online from a payment perspective and not have to pay any charges to do that. We now offer paperless billing. If you don't want to get a paper statement in the mail each month, we can send it to your email. Contact customer service. They can get you set up on that as quick as next month. Online applications. If you're moving to a new location in town, or you have somebody that you know moving in town that needs water service, you can now start your service entirely online. You can pay online without having to pay a fee for your deposit and your account charges, but you don't have to come see us to fill out that form anymore. And we also had a lot of complaints about people having to be present at the house for water to be turned on when somebody moves in. For folks that are moving in for out of town that want water when they show up, that sometimes isn't always helpful to them, because they may be getting there at 7 o'clock at night and we close at 5. So, they wanted that water there. We've been able to rectify that situation where now you can sign a waiver where we can be there and open that water up for you, so that when you get there, there's water there and you don't have to schedule what time you arrive with your moving truck to when we can be there with the water turn-ons. So essentially, with the customer service thing, we love when you come to the lobby. We love interacting with our customers, but if you don't want to interact with us, you can do everything online now. We have customer service reps standing by between 8 and 5 every day that'll be happy to assist you with any transactions that you would like. However, you can now do everything online if you so choose. We talked about increasing the capital budget to $7.1 million, and by doing that, we're able to do a whole lot more projects. 4 years ago, we had about $3.5 million in capital projects a year. We've more than doubled that in the last 4 years. We've done that while holding rates steady for the past 2 years. And you see the amount of projects we're talking about. On the left, those green stars are planned or currently under construction sewer projects for the fiscal year. And on the right, the blue stars are the water projects. On the left, you'll see a few more green than you do blue stars. That's because we have the SPLOST projects that are currently underway that are all sewer related. But you'll see that spread out across the county. You've got projects on the island, both water and sewer. You've got the same in the North Mainland and the city districts, trying to go at these systems as we be proactive at replacing them in the areas that need it the most. I'm going to point out a couple of projects instead of going through all of these. On the sewer side, talk about the Arco water and sewer extension and the community road sewer extension. Arco is a residential area just north of the city limit sign that for whatever reason never got water and sewer ran to that area. Those customers have been asking for help for several years of getting water and sewer service out there. That is currently under engineering, and we hope to go out for construction very early next year for that. The community road is a commercial area on the mainland that for whatever reason never got sewer service. They have water service, but there's a lot of commercial businesses on septic tanks that would like to be on our system, so we're looking at that as well. We've got that underway engineering-wise as well. On the water side, I want to point out a couple of projects. You'll see the term PRV on there. It says St. Simons Island PRV installation and North Mainland PRV installation. A PRV, if you do some research on Google, that says pressure reducing valve. People don't really like when they talk about reducing their water pressure, but this will not reduce your water pressure. It will actually help your water pressure, because what these are going to do is help us create districts, pressure zones in our system that can be better controlled. Instead of having the entire system on the mainland looped, we can now separate those so that we can maintain pressures in those areas. If there's a major water need, those valves will open up and allow that water to get through, but it allows us to get better control over our water pressures. Got the same thing in an area on St. Simons. Down at the bottom on the water side, you'll see some countywide projects, meter replacements we'll talk about shortly, and then galvanized water main replacements. We have a lot of old galvanized steel pipes in the ground, 2-inch, 3-inch water lines. Very old. They corroded over the years, and they've also started getting brittle. You get near them with a shovel, they'll break, and they have leaks, and you get poor water pressure out of them. So we're going through and proactively replacing that now. We're going through whole neighborhoods that have it. We're going through an area on the island now. Our water distribution crews are doing this in-house. So if you see our guys out there that are seeming to do a whole lot of work in a particular neighborhood, we're replacing all of that galvanized water pipe, and you will be getting better water pressure as a result of this. We talked about our meters replacing. We're going to replace all 30,000 of our meters over the next 4 years. So that's about 7,500 meters a year. Currently what we do is the automatic meter reading you see there on the left. We take a truck and we drive by your house and pick up that reading once a month, and then we bring it back and upload it into the computer system, and you have that one reading for the month. You get a bill, and then you get that snapshot for 30 days. We're going to an automatic meter reading, entirely wireless communication infrastructure where we can read your meter with the click of a button at a computer anywhere in our system. So if you come in and have questions about your usage, we can get your water meter usage down to the hour or even smaller increments if necessary. There's a customer portal you can sign up for where you can get that information yourself, kind of like you can with Georgia Power. But as we bring these systems online, you'll be getting information about that. One other key feature to this, we'll be getting a report every day of water meters that ran continuously for 24 hours. If your water meter ran continuously for 24 hours, unless there is a specific purpose for that, if you're a commercial enterprise, in all likelihood you have a leak. So we'll be able to call you the first day you have a leak instead of you getting that sticker shock in 30 days when you get a massive water bill. So we'll be able to cut down on the leak adjustments we have to do, in which will cut down on the large bills you get due to leak adjustment problems. So that also helps conserve our vital resources of water here. So we'll be proactively reaching out to those customers once that report is available, once the meters are installed. So with the COVID restrictions, I've kind of kept this to about 15 minutes. So I'm going to end the presentation here. We don't have anybody here in attendance for this round of this, so there's no questions here, but Mr. Sellers has been monitoring our online. He's indicating there are no questions online as well. Again, we are doing this tomorrow night down at our main office, so join us there 6 to 8 tomorrow. Again, we'll be doing the same presentation for those folks that want to join us on the mainland. There's my contact info. Feel free to reach out with any questions that you have. Our staff is always available to help. And I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance tonight. And with that, we will wrap it up for the evening.